Ready, aim, fire.
Has Radovid's messenger been by?
Yes, sir.
And what did he say?
Temeria cannot survive. The kingdom will be divided. The nobles are riled. Constable Natalis stands on shaky ground.
The loyal old Natalis will get kicked in the arse. How predictable.
And they nearly reached an agreement, but without Foltest's daughter, it didn't work out.
Perfect. Are the quarters ready?
There is a little problem.
Then we must look at this problem. There's no door.
We can't lock her in a doorless cell.
I can see that, you fool. Out of my way. Uncle Deathmold will cast a tiny spell on your little house. Versa Anem. Nilfgaard's most precious gift. Clear up in here. This is Loch Muin, not a bloody pigsty.
Oh, bollocks, Geralt. Marshal Raupenek was a cruel, bloodthirsty prick, true. But the times were different.
He had his men murder every last elf in Loch Muin.
For years, Yorveth and his ilk have been using that banner to wipe their asses clean of the shit they do. In wartime, a commander's forced to make all kinds of decisions. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and I'm sure it lay really heavily on Raupenek's conscience.
Bollocks again. I've already admitted he was a prick. Are you defending the Enshe? They've got barrels of blood on their hands as well. With the Vrans gone, we had to safeguard this source of the power, safeguard this historic city. Huh, elven drivel. Heaps of lizard-like bones were found in nearby caves, all bearing traces of sword cuts. Think what you will. I'm more interested in the city's current inhabitants.
Why am I worried you're going to do something really stupid once we get there?
Above all, I'll find the cure to my suffering.
Deathmold was just a pawn in Henselt's hands.
Deathmold is a bloody murderer, and Henselt was a king. A king I killed. He didn't believe I'd do it till the very end. Nor did I. It's not something I want to discuss again. I don't know if I'll ever strike those images from my mind, but I know I don't want to talk about it.
Taking revenge on Deathmold won't change a thing.
Oh, but it will. The ghosts of my comrades will drink to my health. Knights of the Order.
This is the last place I'd expect to see Knights of the Flaming Rose.
They're here with Radovid. After losing their foothold in Temeria, they rebuilt their position at the Redanian court. You best stay out of sight. You never know with those bigots.
Don't worry about the Knights. Not so long ago I saved their asses. They ought to remember that much.
That was before you were accused of regicide. This is no man's land, Geralt. Anything can happen here. I'll vouch for you where I can, but that'll only get you so far. If we're separated, we'll meet up again in the main square.
Fine.
Vernon Roche and Geralt of Rivia, in the service of Temeria.
Foltest's killer in the service of Temeria.
Foltest's killer is in Loch Muin. Geralt of Rivia will help me capture him.
Since you're Knights of the Order, is there a Ponce named Siegfried among you?
There is indeed.
Tell him I'm here. He's sure to be pleased to see me.
And why is that?
Well, he wouldn't be Grand Master if it wasn't for me.
Come through then.
Geralt of Rivia. I'd sooner expect to see you in a Temerian dungeon.
Been there. Didn't much like it. Though it would be perfect for the man Vernon Roche and I are looking for.
I've heard much about the commander of the Blue Stripes.
I'm honored to meet the Grand Master.
A position I owe most certainly to Geralt.
Only you can guide the Order through the necessary reforms.
We are doing our best. You've got yourself into a fine pickle, Geralt.
That's why I came to Loch Muin. Why are you here?
The Order supports King Radovid.
Do you believe he'll need your support?
He requested it himself.
I heard these were peace talks.
Peace is very easy to discuss, much harder to maintain.
What's Radovid's agenda?
You know him. He's a young and ambitious king.
How ambitious?
More than anyone ever imagined. But in a leader, can that be said to be a flaw? At a summit, everyone is pulling their way. Things can get heated. Knowledge that Knights of the Order are stationed just outside the city walls should prevent the situation from getting out of hand.
What can we expect to see in Loch Muin?
The delegations have entrenched themselves in their districts, erected barricades as if preparing for a siege.
You can never be too careful. So long, Siegfried.
Ready for your chat with Radovid.
No reason to delay it.
Follow me then.
Halt!
We're here to meet King Radovid.
Have you been granted an official audience?
No, but we have some very important news for him.
I cannot let you through to see the king.
The Grand Master of the Order of the Flaming Rose will vouch for us. Besides, this camp is swarming with soldiers. We'd have to be stupid or suicidal to attack Radovid.
Pass then, if your news is so important. But one word from the king and you'll hang. Both of you.
Don't you worry about us.
Audience with the king.
Yes.
The king will receive you.
Geralt of Rivia.
Your Majesty.
As usual, you turn up where and when you're least expected. And in such company. I never thought they'd make a soldier out of you.
Vernon Roach is a friend. He's in uniform, sure, but that's meaningless.
The world has changed greatly since we met those few months ago. Temeria stands at the brink of civil war. Kedwin has taken the Pontar Valley by force, and a Nilfgaardian delegation plays a prominent role at the summit of the Northern Kingdoms. Voltest and Demavend are both dead. Though it seems we were signing treaties just yesterday. Henselt was butchered in Vergen.
Why did you bring the Knights of the Order here, Your Majesty?
The Order of the Flaming Rose is here to ensure that the talks remain peaceful. We wish to avoid a second Thanet.
What's the delegation from Nilfgaard doing here?
Henselt invited them. Before he died.
Shillard Fitzhestelun would never miss an opportunity like this one. He'll come to the talks and stage his favourite drama.
I've come here for help, Your Majesty.
Wait, Witcher.
Were it not for you, Henselt would have perished at the hands of an assassin. Am I right?
My reputation precedes me yet again.
From soldier to soldier, from whores to barons, right up to the royal ears.
Why do you ask about him, Your Majesty?
Mere curiosity, but I understand if you'd rather not talk about it. Do you know how he died?
Yes, I was there.
Speak then.
Henselt had Roach's unit murdered. I can't call it anything else. In doing that, he signed his own death sentence. In the chaos that followed the Battle of Vergen, we caught up to him in one of the houses.
I killed him because it had to be done. It was just. And Deathmold is next on the list.
That is the only reason I won't have you hanged, Vernon Roach. You said you needed help, Witcher. Tell me more.
Who's representing Kedwin?
Only the sorcerer Deathmold and his men are in Loch Muin. But Deathmold represents himself.
If Temeria is in turmoil, then who has arrived to represent it?
Constable Natalis, the hero of Brenner, which is good. His presence is like a slap on Shillard's face delivered by the North.
Sheila de Tanzerville is behind the murderers that hit Temeria, Eddern, and Kedwin.
How do you know?
I found one of the assassins after Henselt's murder. Before he died, he revealed de Tanzerville's role to me.
Why you in particular?
He knew me from the time I can't remember.
Your past troubles me, Geralt, but I have more pressing matters today.
It all makes sense. Shillard Fitz-Estelin warned me about a plot. Apparently, Triss Merigold confessed to him that the sorceresses had set up a secret lodge.
Triss is working with Shillard?
She's been detained as a suspect. Shillard believes the sorceresses of Nilfgaard were also part of the conspiracy. Luckily, the entire amphitheatre is under a spell that quells any magic. Otherwise, no one would dare go near all those mages. Well, the talks beckon. Everyone wants to see Temeria's bitter end.
What do you mean by that, Your Majesty?
The nobles are rebelling in Vizima. Lacking a ruler, they simply want to divide the kingdom into provinces.
Divide Temeria! Shame on the traitors!
Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Anais, the daughter of Louisa and Foltest, lives still. After the Baroness's rebellion, the girl was captured by the Nilfgaardians. The child has become a bargaining chip between the Empire and Kedwin. My people tell me Anais is here in Lochmuin, in Deathmold's hands. I cannot mount an armed attack on the Kedwenis. It would be tantamount to declaring war, and we have gathered here to maintain peace. A lone witcher and a former soldier. That would be a different matter. Bring me Anais, Geralt, and I'll salvage a united Temeria, and punish those whose hands are stained with the Temerian king's blood.
What about Sheila?
Easy, Witcher. I have ways to deal with impertinent sorceresses. I have managed to tame Philippa Eilhart. Why shouldn't I do so with Sheila de Tanzerville as well? The girl is most important, Witcher. I would look after her. Take her back to Tretogor in Redania, where she would mature under the caring gaze of her half-sister and my wife Ada. When she's of age, she can claim the throne and thus guarantee Temeria's sovereignty. I must attend these talks, Geralt. Time is short. Bring me the girl, the two of you. Men without country or commander. Renegades that no one seems to have taken into account. I, in turn, promise that Sheila de Tanzerville will pay for her deeds. I shall punish her with fire and steel.
Roach!
Just the person I'd be looking for were I not forced to seek Anais Lavalette. You have much to explain, Brigida Paperbrook.
Oh no, you'll not pin this on me. I trusted you and you sent me into a den of vipers. Vipers!
Another Vess?
This is no time for pleasantries, Geralt. Calm yourself, Brigida. You were to watch Foltest's children. I saw nothing dangerous in the task. Obviously I was wrong, but I need your help. Anais has been kidnapped. Boosie is likely dead. I need to know how this happened. I need to know the details.
You knew well what you were getting me into. You know that entire rotting bunch. The Count, the Baron.
Not half as well as you do, my dear. Who were those men?
Not so fast, Roach. I have been hiding in this city for 3 days, scurrying about like a rat. They're hunting me. I'll not let you leave me here.
What do you propose?
Escort me out of the city, to the river.
What will that get you?
I expected I would need to fend for myself. I've secured passage. Take me there, and I will tell you all.
It's a long way.
You've a traitor in your camp, Roach. Perhaps more than one. What happened to Foltest's bastards is no series of coincidences. It's the result of a clever, treacherous game.
Damn it all. Geralt, I need to look to Anais, learn how we're to get to her. But Brigida might know what happened to Busi. Thus far, we've heard nothing but rumors. Take her to the river.
All right, Roach. I'll help you this one last time.
I'll search for a back way into the Kedweni camp.
You're forgetting. I came here for Triss.
Whatever you decide to do later, so be it. But a traitor in the Temerian camp threatens us all. Escort Brigida, learn what you can.
I'd thank you, Roach, if you weren't such a shit.
I'm counting on you, Geralt. Brigida must get to her destination safely.
Good luck, Roach.
Calm thus far. Your dear Roach seems to have been wrong.
You two have a history. Or do I have it wrong?
He asked a favor of me. I was to stay with Foltest's children, watch them, travel with them if necessary. Child's play, the bastard called it. That's how I wound up in the caravan transporting the children to Loch Muin for the summit.
Yeah, that clearly went sour. Tell me more.
Soon enough. We've just got to make it through the forest. It's a short way to the river beyond that. It should be calm.
Let's go.
It's not far now. Redlin awaits down by the river, at the end of this path.
Is Redlin another of Roach's contacts?
No, a smuggler. I'd be looking for another way out if he were Roach's man.
Stay behind me.
It's Roach's bitch! Kill them!
They were expecting us.
No time to lose. How much further?
Not far. We must stay on this path. It's the shortest way.
You've gotten into some serious trouble.
I should say so. Temeria is like a haystack, and the information I have is a burning torch. Fill the rest in for yourself. Okov.
This was the smuggler you spoke of. Someone's coming.
Thank you. I'd not have survived on my own.
Talk, woman. You've dragged me far away from the city. You owe me an explanation. Who were those men? Who have you been hiding from?
I don't know.
3 days like a rat, you said, and you don't know?
I knew. I mean, I had my suspicions.
So talk. Who's out to kill you?
I don't know.
There you go again.
Truly, I cannot be sure. At first I thought it was revenge for the children. But he knows I'm no traitor.
It's not Roach. We both know that.
Yes. You're right.
Tell me about the Vipers.
They created this storm.
Are they working together?
I would say they detest one another. Or that's what they wish everyone to believe. The devil only knows.
What does Baron Kimbold want?
A strong Temeria, and a strong North. He's obsessed. He believes we're surrounded by rebels and traitors. The Lavalettes, the Marabels.
He's probably not alone in that belief.
But he is alone in believing that he himself is the remedy for that ailment. The Baron sees himself on the Temerian throne. He claimed he would achieve this by marrying Anais.
Isn't she a little young for him?
He's a disgusting old setter. He'd be a tyrant were he to don the crown.
You know what the Count intends?
No, but I cannot imagine anyone more different from Baron Kimbold.
Meaning?
I would call him a sheep were his heart not black. He's a jester, an especially nasty one, though I cannot identify his master. He may not even have one.
Seems you got to know the Baron and the Count well. Then there's Roach. Pretty interesting social life, I'd say.
Being a courtier, that was no life for me. I thought it terribly dull and found a remedy.
Searching for excitement shouldn't get you killed.
It's the last time I do anything of the sort.
You can't be sure of that. Is Vernon the only person you do favors for?
I've never betrayed Temeria, if that's what you ask.
What happened to the convoy carrying Anais and Busi? What about the children?
We were ambushed. The caravan was destroyed.
I need details.
We were travelling along the agreed path, with a limited escort so as not to draw attention. The children were in 2 separate wagons, a safety measure, I was told.
Which one were you in?
I was with Anais. One day a messenger appeared with orders for the caravan's commander. A change of plans. We turned north to travel a longer route for safety's sake. Soon after the turnoff, we were attacked. The attackers were killing everyone indiscriminately. One pulled me from the wagon, but a bolt pierced his neck. It was mayhem. I ran for the bushes and hid.
Did you see what happened to the children?
The driver of Boosie's wagon was shot. The horses got spooked and ran off into the forest, taking the wagon with them. When the fighting was done, they found Anais still in her wagon. I turned away for fear of what they might do. I nearly grabbed her and fled.
Any idea what happened to the caravan commander's orders?
I have them. After they took Anais, the bastards were in a hurry. They didn't even think to search the corpses. Take them.
Thanks. Sure you can manage that boat?
I must. I'll not return to the city. Thank you again, Witcher. And follow this through. You'll do us all a favor.
Roach may trust you, but I'm not so sure. What do you want?
The mages will want to get as much as they can out of this summit, and monarchs don't generally like others dictating terms. This may end in a row.
There will be no row. The mages now rely on the mercy of the northern kingdoms.
The amphitheater itself is also protected by an anti-magic shield, like the one used at Thanedd.
The times of mage impunity are gone. They will be shown their place.
Impressive summit, but not all the players have their representatives here.
The most important do. The mages thought about inviting everyone, but time is short.
I've seen a Nilfgaardian delegation.
Scandalous, as I see it. They're here at Henselt's bidding. Before long, he'll be inviting them to his war councils.
Representatives of the Council of Regents. Did any come with you?
Only Baron Kimbolt and Count Maravel. The other 5 remain in Vizima. It seems that save Baron Orval, most spend their time trying to devise a way to undermine Anais's claim to the throne.
Kimbolt and Maravel. What's their stance?
Well, they've taken opposing positions, as one might expect. The Baron believes Anais's origin, if you will, stands in the way of her taking the throne, though it's common knowledge that he would simply prefer to seat himself on it. Whereas Maravel has said that Foltest's children have his full support. He stated this in Vizima before the entire council. One thing is certain, words come cheap. Those two may change their minds in a flash if Anais is found and recovered.
There's a traitor among the Temerians.
Careful, Witcher. You'd better have evidence if you plan to accuse someone of treason.
Boosie and Anais.
Yes?
Anais was kidnapped on Baron Kimbolt's orders.
Have you any proof?
A letter I got from Brigitte Pepperbrock.
Dame Pepperbrock is alive?
Yeah, but she's far away by now.
Kimbolt's signature and official seal. It does appear the Baron arranged everything. I'm grateful to you, Witcher. So you see, Count, I find myself in an unenviable position, one in which I require the support of your forces in arresting Baron Kimbolt.
Baron Kimbolt, a child slayer. Gods protect us.
Can I rely on you, Count?
The very thought of standing against a highborn peer fills me with trepidation. But a crime this cruel cannot go unpunished. Consider myself and my forces at your disposal, John Natalis. Geralt of Rivia, I am delighted to see you among the living and the free.
Are you serious, Count?
Such an injustice to lock you up without so much as a hearing, and then the beatings, the torture. It's barbaric, I tell you, based on pure prejudice, the presumption of guilt.
Actually, if I'd seen what they saw.
But alas, such is my homeland, filled with fear, and thus ruthless, cold as stone, dark and severe in aura and mindset.
I suppose there's some truth to that.
A response at once cautious and reasonable. Admirable qualities in and of themselves, positively required in your profession.
If you say so.
But tell me, Witcher, what brings you here? Are you nipping at the heels of Foltest's killer, close to beheading the wretch, as I expect is your style? Do you require my assistance?
I just have some questions, Count.
Well, ask away by all means. I am finding you a skilled, if slightly reticent, conversationalist.
What brings you to Loch Muin?
Concern for my country, Witcher, and an express and somewhat surprising request from Constable Natalis.
Surprising? How so?
Surely you jest, Witcher? Truth be told, few could marshal loyal forces matching mine on such short order, Baron Kimbolt excepted. Yet, though I very much held Foltest's trust, I cannot say that many of my Temerian peers feel the same way.
Why do you suppose that is?
They resent me. I share neither their customs nor their beliefs.
I've got to say you stand out, Count.
I'm flattered, I suppose, but what specifically do you mean?
I haven't quite put my finger on it, but take a look around. Would you say you resemble your countrymen?
I thank the gods I do not. It is because I love my homeland that I am the first to note its faults, and they are many.
Care to elaborate?
Hypocrisy, superstition, lack of learning. Need I go on?
If you wouldn't mind.
Take you witches, for instance. The gods know we suffer a plague of beasts, pre-conjunction, post-conjunction, magically bred and sprung from rotting marshes and the dark abysses of our land.
No such thing as pre-conjunction creatures.
You bite unnecessarily. We have but one remedy for this plague, dwindling in numbers as it may be, yet it is a remedy we revile. You are shunned, spat upon, turned away on stormy nights. Would you say this is reasonable?
It's the way of things.
Spoken like a true representative of a dying species. Yes, Your Excellency.
Let so much as a flea slip through, and you shall pay with your heads. Look who's here, the Rivian Witcher.
Greetings.
Our paths cross often, it seems.
Too often.
What do you seek here?
Triss Merigold.
In the Nilfgaardian camp? Fistek has addled your brain.
Lower your sword, son.
You've got cheek, Geralt.
Let's go. One false move and your ambassador will never see Nilfgaard's son again.
My men won't let you leave here alive.
They will if you ask them to, Excellency, and I believe you will.
Reynold Ep Madsen's orders come from the Emperor himself. He'd rather die than give you Merigold.
Then he'll die.
No.
Out of the way, all of you, or the old man dies.
Hold there!
I'm not joking.
I know, and I advise you not to hesitate. Kill him, for we shan't move one bit.
Renwald!
He who brings me the Witcher's head will get the Order of Merit.
But Ambassador Fitz-Estellen...
Your Excellency. Orders from the capital.
Now I'll have to kill you all.
What are you waiting for? Get him! Make the Emperor proud! Kill him! Congratulations, Witcher. They were my best men.
Free Triss, or join them.
You amaze me. How can you risk your life for a witch?
Let's just say we're close.
I knew it. You're in love with her. You wouldn't risk your neck otherwise. But you don't know everything about her.
What are you talking about?
Your friend and the other witches conspired against your rulers.
How do you know that?
From the best possible source. She confessed.
And how did you convince her to do that?
By showing her the confessions of other Lodge members.
I don't believe you.
That's irrelevant at this point. During our chat, my people managed to regroup, call for reinforcements.
Maybe now they'll start fighting like men.
Time to show you the Empire's true power.
Geralt?
Didn't expect to see me.
Are you kidding? The only person you expect to see in a Nilfgaardian dungeon is the executioner.
Did they torture you?
They tried various things, but they got nothing from me.
When I left Flotsam with Vernon, I somehow doubted I'd find you so soon.
I know it was hard on you. I'll never forget this, you hear? Never.
I'd slaughter half the Nilfgaardian army for a friend. I know you're a member of the Lodge, Triss.
How do you know of the Lodge?
Does it matter? I also know the Lodge was behind Demavend's assassination.
Geralt,
I trust you.
True. I'm a member of the Lodge. Just like 8 other sorceresses. But if you think I'm responsible for the Lodge's actions, you're badly mistaken. The Lodge is a theater for 2 actresses. Sheila and Philippa have long dominated it.
To the point where you didn't know about the murder they planned?
To the point where I was no longer invited to gatherings.
Why?
They stopped trusting me.
Because you didn't agree with them?
9 women very rarely agree on anything. The actual problem was that...
Tell me.
I was close to you. If Sheila fears anyone, it's Geralt of Rivia. The Lodge did everything to convince me that our relationship didn't bother them, even that it suited them. But they manipulated me. Through me, they fed you select information. Depending on the circumstances, they twisted facts.
We're still close. They could still be doing it.
Don't insult me.
Calm down, Triss. Reynold ep Matson claimed otherwise, but I'll always take your word over that of some Nilfgaardian lowlifes. Now, you'll tell me everything you know. I need to learn the truth.
All existing councils of mages disintegrated after the Thaned massacre. We all acted separately. Philippa decided to create a new organization, a secret one this time.
When I was sworn in, it never crossed my mind that the Lodge's plans would soon become secret to its members. As you know, Philippa's not one for minor undertakings. She presented a plan for creating a powerful state controlled by sorceresses.
The best laid schemes of mages and men.
Philippa and Sheila never lacked ideas or enthusiasm. To control a powerful state, they needed to create one first. Or find a wealthy land with a suitable political arrangement and an easily manipulated ruler. Sheila chose the Pontar Valley, Demavend, and Stennis.
I'd choose the same if I were her. Demavend didn't have a network of spies anywhere near as good as Henselt's or Radovid's.
Nor could he count on the loyalty of such men as our dear Vernon Roche. At one of our meetings, I just asked how they imagined overthrowing Demavend. That was the last time I was invited. After Demoven's death, I became suspicious but had no evidence. Philippa brushed me off. When you went off to meet Yorveth and Sheila was busy with the Karen's carcass, I managed to scan parts of her megascope. That's when I learned that Sheila had dealings with Letho.
If only I'd learned that, everything could have been different.
Letho must have shadowed me when I entered Sheila's room. Then he forced me to teleport us to somewhere near Vergen.
Did you talk to him?
He wasn't aggressive. In Vergen, he told me that Sheila commissioned them to assassinate Demavend. Them being the Witchers of the School of the Viper. Sheila helped them prepare the assassination.
I wonder why he told you about it.
Is that important?
Conspirators who suddenly divulge everything? I'd be suspicious.
There was some interference as we teleported to Edirn. I emerged intact, but pretty battered. I knew Philippa was in the area. I decided to go see her and lay my cards on the table.
Maybe Letho wanted just that.
I met a woman at Philippa's house. Thought she was just a servant or Philippa's lover. Before I could speak, I was overpowered by spells. I hardly expected an attack. The pain I felt as my body was compressed. It's indescribable. As if all my bones were being broken. It's even worse when you return to your true form. In any case, Philippa had no idea her lover was a Nilfgaardian spy. I was carried as that figurine all the way to Loch Muin. Asira decompressed me back just before they murdered her. Shillard interrogated me but learned nothing. If it wasn't for you, they'd have had me quartered. I didn't piece the puzzle together until I was here, in the dungeon. Now you know everything.
Ever find out what Sheila was actually doing in Flotsam? I find it hard to believe she went there just to kill a monster and earn a few orans.
You're right, of course. It had something to do with Letho and the Scoia'tael.
What did she want from Yorveth?
The Scoia'tael were Saskia's trump card. I expect Sheila needed to know what the elves would do, given that a war with Hensel was practically inevitable.
Who had Foltest assassinated?
I have no idea. Perhaps after Demavend's successful assassination, Sheila and Philippa decided to take the next step.
That would be stupid. Killing Demavend was a way to take control of the Pontar Valley. People would forget the regicide in a year, and the Lodge could put its plan in motion. They had to know that if Foltest died, men like Roach wouldn't rest until they learned why that had happened.
One thing is certain. Letho killed Foltest, and Sheila was working with Letho.
Did Saskia know the Lodge's plans?
She didn't even know the Lodge existed. Philippa told her that the sorceresses would support an independent state in the Pontar Valley, no strings attached. A fairy tale, but Saskia bought it. Saskia backed Philippa, and the people backed Saskia.
That'll have to do for now.
We'll learn more at the talks.
You're going to attend?
You have no memory of how the world worked before the Thanad massacre.
Actually, I know exactly how it worked.
That means...
We'll talk about my memory later.
All right. If the Council and Conclave still existed, kings wouldn't be assassinated and massacres would be less frequent. This is our chance to restore these institutions, and we shouldn't miss it. Normalizing relations between the rulers and the mages who advise them is our only chance for peace.
And our only chance to dismantle the Lodge.
The Lodge will disintegrate anyway. Once the kings learn it was behind the assassinations, they'll start a witch hunt. We can prevent that from happening. I'm all for punishing the guilty, but can't abide collective responsibility. I'm ready to go and reveal everything I know about Philippa Eilhart, Sheila de Tanserville, and their schemes.
Let's go then.
We shouldn't arrive at the same time. Let's split up.
Triss.
Yes?
That was some mess. I wouldn't want to see you hurt like that again.
Don't worry, I'll manage. See you at the talks.
All right.
Forgive me.
We're about to witness a great event.
Yeah, I can't wait. Let's go inside.
It's now or never.
In recent weeks, we have deliberated extensively in Vizima on who is to succeed to the Temerian throne. Because the fate of Foltest's last child remains unknown, we could not reach an agreement. Unable to reconcile the interests of the esteemed Temerian houses, we have no choice but to divide the country into provinces along the barony's current borders.
This cannot be, John Natalis. Temeria stands between Nilfgaard and the north. It must be a strong and united realm.
I too would wish it so, Your Majesty. But when Foltest was cut down by an assassin, the country's very heart burst.
I have learned that Anais La Valette is currently in the hands of the sorcerer Deathmold.
Clearly you have yet to learn of the slaughter that occurred today in the Kedweni camp, King Radovid.
Yet there is hope if the child lives. I hasten to remind you that Vernon Roach, his capture is also your responsibility. He is suspected of murdering King Henselt soon after the monarch's triumph in Vergen. As a Temerian soldier, Roach remains under your jurisdiction, Natalis.
Vernon Roach disappeared with his unit a few days after the successful siege of La Valette Castle. Should he reappear in Temeria, he shall be arrested and tried as the law prescribes.
To the matter at hand. The document describing the charter of the Council and the Conclave is, as previously ascertained, an exact copy of the charter found in the ruins on Thanet Island. The more important question relates to the Conclave and its power to designate royal advisors. Today, randomly chosen mages and sorceresses reside at many courts. However, in the time of the previous Conclave, such persons were carefully chosen.
Why shouldn't we pick our own advisors?
These individuals bear great responsibility, Your Majesty. The Conclave needs to be certain they are competent.
And that they will keep the Conclave's interests in mind.
Obviously, sire. The Conclave's chief interest is the well-being and prosperity of the northern kingdoms. The document has been signed by every member of the Conclave we have proposed, as well as by all but one of the designated advisors. We await only Sheila de Tanserville's signature.
Without our royal seals, you should be allowed to designate advisors to cowherd at most.
That is true, Your Majesty.
Sheila de Tanserville should never be allowed to sign this document.
Triss Merigold, you decided to join us after all.
De Tanserville has royal blood on her hands. She can't sit on the Conclave.
That is a lie.
Have you anything to support these claims, Merigold?
There are witnesses who will confirm that Sheila de Tanserville was behind the assassinations of Demavend and Foltest.
Officials of the future Council and Conclave. Sheila de Tanserville should be arrested and tried. If Triss Merigold speaks the truth, Lady de Tanserville will be condemned to death.
Sheila de Tanserville, until Triss Merigold's charges are dismissed or refuted, you cannot sit on the Conclave.
Arrest her.
You don't know the whole truth. Merigold doesn't know what she's talking about. You're late.
I've already managed to stabilize the portal.
You've got nowhere to run. Sooner or later, somebody will find you.
I prefer to leave on my own terms.
Where's Letho?
Sir Synthesis will tend to him, as she will to all the fools who get a hard-on at the mere thought of burning a sorceress at the stake.
Where is he?
I don't know, fool. I've been looking for him since Foltest's assassination. Letho cheated all of us. We were deceived by his dull face and sluggish stare. Don't you understand? The Lodge sought a way to get rid of Demavend, that's true. He was a weak, volatile king. Edirn would eventually choke to death under his rule. We chose the lesser evil. He had to be eliminated, and Letho happened to be at hand.
Foltest? Henselt?
We had nothing to do with that. After assassinating Demavend, Letho used our gold and magical support to find and meet Yorveth. The elf was to help him hide until the matter blew over, or so I thought. The Lodge did not condemn Foltest to die.
Then who did?
Nilfgaard. Letho is the king of liars and emperor of traitors. From the start, he worked for the glory of the great sun and the white flame dancing on the graves of his foes. He lied to everyone. Me, Yorveth, your stupid little Triss, and you.
Got any evidence?
A moment ago, I received a message from the Lodge's agent in Sintra. The Imperial Army is on the move. They're fording the Yaruga now. Do you think the North can defend itself in the current situation? And can you count on another miracle at Brenna?
I don't know, but you made it all possible and you'll answer for that. The stigma of treason is yours for all time.
We shall see. For no one will leave this city alive. No one will tell this story. Philippa controls the dragon. As soon as I disappear, it will turn the city into a flaming tomb.
The dragon attacked Foltest's troops during the siege of Lavalet Castle. That hardly supports your tale.
We did not control it then. We may have lost a battle, but the war is just beginning. You, however, shall not take part in it. This is your end, Witcher.
Farewell! This one's flawed! I'll be torn to bits! Geralt, remove it!
You waited long enough. Should you survive, go south to Nilfgaard, where you'll find Yennefer of Vengerberg. Farewell, Witcher.
Shit, you stink.
dodgy sorceresses. A list of the whores you'll help us find.
What's going on here?
Are you all right?
More or less.
And the dragon?
Let's say it had a hard landing, impaled itself on a tree.
Did you kill it?
It's alive. You know I don't kill dragons.
But Philippa's...
In time, we'll deal with her. You know that could be one of the last dragons alive, a noble and beautiful creature.
Let's get out of here.
I guess Letho got away.
He's waiting for you.
Waiting?
Where the Temerians made camp. Come on.
What do you mean, waiting? How do you know?
Utter chaos broke out after the dragon attacked. I tried to reach Philippa's quarters. A terrified man approached me in one of the alleys, gave me a letter and begged me not to harm him. He said it was for you. The letter was short. I'm waiting in the Temerian camp. Letho.
What happened here while I was gone?
All the kings had many more armed men than they should have had at a peace summit. During the evacuation, several skirmishes broke out. The Kedwenis clashed with the Temerians. The Order's knights raped 2 sorceresses and killed those who dared try to help them.
Do you think the Council and Conclave will survive?
Well, they're established, and that's the only thing that prevented a wholesale massacre. Hard to say if they'll survive, but for the time being, no one's got any better ideas. Mages are part of this world, whether people like it or not. They have to have their rights, their place. Otherwise, another lodge will arise.
Vernon Roach! Step away from the child. She's of royal blood. Temerian. Too good for you, Horsons. You're an outlaw. Wanted in all the north. Hand over the child and perhaps the king will show you mercy. I piss on Kedweni mercy.
Roach!
Triss! We can't let them have her! This is Foltest's daughter! I've heard enough! Grab them! I failed. Deathmold got away. Thanks, Geralt.
Triss needed my help. You know that. The Nilfgaardians outwitted us all.
What are you talking about?
They kidnapped Triss. The Emperor dispatched the Kingslayers using the Lodge as a decoy. All in order to breed chaos in the northern kingdoms.
Temeria is lost. The Barons will pick it apart into bits.
It's not lost. Temeria will be reunited. Get the child out of here. Take her far away. Far from the kings, their courts, and their wars. One day, she'll reclaim her heritage.
What about you, Geralt?
I'm going after the Kingslayer.
A man of his word.
It's personal now.
Farewell then, White Wolf. I trust we'll meet again in better times.
Farewell, Roach.
Proud, I think. The reward on his head has never been greater. Those seeking him, the Scoia'tael hunters, will be reinforced. The special forces throughout the north will receive more resources. The Council and the Conclave are assigning several mages to the task. Yorveth is now public enemy number 1. They won't rest until they find him.
This is no place for witches. Though I know you and you appear wherever something important happens.
True, though sometimes by accident.
And this time, also a coincidence?
Let's say I have something to take care of.
In that case, hurry. Once we're done cleaning up this mess created by the royal soldiery, Loch Muin will be magically sealed.
Getting out of here?
Temporarily. We shall return soon enough to rebuild the city. Loch Muin will regain its former glory. Until that time, we need to keep the treasure hunters and troublemakers out.
So Radovid trusts you?
We shall win His Royal Majesty's trust by delivering Sheila de Tansarville and the other traitresses from the lodge.
That could take a while. Sheila's fled Loch Muin via Megascope.
We have time. She cannot hide forever. Sooner or later, she will be ours. Forgive me, I must attend to some matters. And don't dawdle. The city will be sealed in 1 hour.
There he is.
Wait for me.
Geralt.
I don't want you to get hurt.
I can take care of myself.
Not this time. I need to talk to him alone. Wait for me at the city gate. If I'm not there within the hour, leave without me.
Took you a while?
Is that bauble from Sheila's Megascope?
Mm-hmm. My final prank. I switched the diamonds. The one in the Megascope has a flaw. Minute. But just large enough to warp the teleport. The Emperor's magic theorists assured me the effect would be spectacular.
I let her escape.
You're heartless. You've no idea what the Royal Witch Hunters have in store for her. A lot of pain for a long time.
I don't doubt it. So, ready to lay your cards out on the table?
No matter the game, there comes a point when all the players need to show their cards. I love that moment. But first... vodka?
I suppose my throat's a little dry.
In that case, let's drink to old friendships. Recovered your memory yet?
Not entirely.
Remember how we first met?
Yeah. I saved your life. Couldn't think of a nicer way to pay me back?
Frankly, I couldn't. I mean, taking care of another man's woman, Yennefer. I can't fathom what you saw in her, but I suppose there's no accounting for taste.
The winter solstice 1270. Midinvern, the night of magic. Letho wasn't lying, the hunt had stopped. At the Hanged Man's Tree, the spectral riders selected from among those they had taken. Yennefer was among them. A wraith cannot be killed, only driven away. Every witcher knows that. Yet the riders fell beneath the blows of our witcher's blades. Crimson blood flowed from under their dead men's armor. We could not kill them all. They were simply too many. A stalemate. He was different from all other elves. There was no shame in his gaze. He had never suffered persecution. He had endured no massacres. Humans had not taken his land. This elf was not of this world. He was an invader. We struck a deal. My soul for that of Yennefer. He agreed without hesitation.
Back with me, friend. Got the feeling you left for a minute.
Memories. I remember the Hanged Man's Tree and the Wild Hunt. I remember the exchange. Me for Yennefer.
So, cards out on the table. Unless you chase me all that way just to kill me.
I chased you for lots of reasons. You owe me some explanations to start with.
Let's say I do.
Care to tell me what it was all about?
Kill as many rulers as we could. Lay the blame on the sorceresses. Breed chaos. Prepare the North. Soften it before the invasion. And you know what's incredible? We could not have imagined more fertile soil. No matter what the war's outcome, the northern monarchs will accuse one another. Pursue their God-given rights. Seek vengeance and be at each other's throats for years to come. The North resembles a whorehouse on fire, as your friend Dandelion would say.
Why are you still here? Why did you wait for me this time?
I knew you wouldn't give up. I knew you'd pursue me. And I don't aim to hide anymore. Fact is, only you know the truth about me, well, and a couple of folks whose word isn't worth spit anymore. I never saw you as a foe. I want to go my way, but if I have to fight you first, so be it. This story ends here and now.
How did a Witcher agree to kill humans at another human's bidding?
At the Emperor's bidding, Geralt. And he's no ordinary human. The rulers of the North come up to about where his Pauline's end.
Why?
Simple. He promised to rebuild the School of the Viper, the Witcher's order where I came to be. Witcher's schools in the south fell into ruin long ago, and Witchers themselves became internal exiles, banned from entering most cities. Besides Seret and Ox, I know of 2 other Witchers of the School of the Viper who should be alive and on the path. I don't know where they are. Haven't seen them for years. Now they can come out of hiding. They can come home.
How did you know where we'd find the Wild Hunt?
Every Witcher who wears the Viper around his neck knows the place. We had so many books and scrolls about the hunt that I used to think our school was founded for the very purpose of solving the riddle of the spectral riders.
Know who they are? You know the true identities of the riders?
From what I understand, they're some damn elven race. But they turned out to be a big ruse. The legendary omen of war proved to be a fairground attraction.
No Market Square mage could possibly conjure up a cavalcade of wraiths speeding across the sky. Then there's the amnesia. No, there's something more, I assure you.
Go ahead, enlighten me. I can tell you want to.
There are a lot of legends and myths about it, but the Wild Hunt is a fact. I've fought and killed many of its wraiths. They were spectral emanations, the avatars of real riders. The riders we ran into by the Hanged Man's Tree.
Are you telling me you were carried off by elves? Real material sons of bitches like the ordinary kind we deal with in this world?
They may be ordinary in their world, but they're strangers in ours. The conjunction of spheres. Know the theory? Do you know how monsters appeared in our world?
There's not a Witcher who doesn't know that.
So you know there are other spheres? The most powerful of our mages can open passages between these worlds, and they usually do that to summon the monsters we then have to hunt. The elves we saw come from another world, and they weren't summoned. They found the way on their own. It's not exactly easy, so they usually send their spectral emanations. They come in person on special missions.
As they did for you and Yennefer.
Mm-hmm.
So, elves from another world and their trained wraiths. What do they want from you?
I've got an idea, but that's not your concern. Tell me about Yennefer. What happened after I departed?
She was feverish for several days, delirious, in agony. We thought that was it. She was on her way out. Somehow she recovered. But even then she was disoriented. Amnesia like you.
What then?
Well, the woman turned out to be quite a character. Throwing temper tantrums, trying to seduce orcs, trying to drive a wedge between us. After you so nobly sacrificed yourself, we thought it'd be dumb just to leave her somewhere. She wouldn't have survived more than a month. The whims and vigor of a duchess, but she was just a sorceress with no memory. We were in the heart of the Empire. And as I'm sure you know, Geralt, in Nilfgaard, mages who behave like that either drop their bad habits quickly, or are drawn and quartered by horses in the middle of Victory Square.
So I heard.
So we set out, wandered through the provinces. Everywhere we went, she got in trouble and we pulled her out. And then one day they captured us. The Imperial Secret Police. Me, Ox, Sarret, and Yennefer.
Imperial Secret Police?
Mm-hmm. We were separated, and they questioned us. Long and thoroughly, but it was uneventful, no violence. That's how I met Vatia de Rideau, and a couple of weeks later, the Emperor himself. Me. A simple witcher.
What happened to Yennefer?
I don't know. Never saw her again. The Emperor offered me a mission in the Northern Kingdoms. As for Yennefer, I had the feeling she was somehow important to Emir. As I see it, they learned of the Lodge from her. Those Imperial spooks have their ways. All I heard is that Vatir had his men watch Yennefer closely throughout the time she was at the palace. Then we went off to slay the kings of the north. That's where my knowledge ends.
So she's in the Empire?
She was when I left.
I'm done talking. Let's finish this.
Want to fight?
Any vodka left in that bottle?
A swig apiece. Here. The Imperial army is probably crossing the Yaruga as we speak. Pure pandemonium will ensue. The North's finished. Time to go south, where the good life awaits.
You're a fool, Letho. Both you and your Emperor are forgetting one thing. Misfortune brings people together. Very shortly, the North could be united like never before, thanks to you. But that's just not my concern anymore.
I'm not your foe. I never was. Let me walk away and I will. You'll never see me again. Force me to fight, and this time I'll kill you.
I've learned all I wanted to know. I can feel the memories coming back. Your death won't change a thing. Go where you will.
Just like that. No threats. No words of wisdom.
You going or not?
Farewell, Geralt.
The Witcher had traveled far and wide in search of the Kingslayers. In Flotsam, he slew Bernard Laredo, but few mourned for the Commandant. Flotsam remained Temerian, while command of the garrison and town went to a Vizima noble, a sworn enemy of Kedwin and an avid angler. To this day, folk gather round bonfires in Lobendon to hear of the Witcher's deeds. The Witcher witnessed a great Kedweni victory in Edirn. At Vergen, Henselt's army crushed Saskia the Dragonslayer's motley force, ending the springtime of races. Soldiers of the Unicorn swarmed over the Pontar Valley. As it had before, powerful Kedwen swallowed Upper Edirn whole. Yet subsequent events would render Henselt's triumph short-lived. After Foltest's death, Temeria's neighbors began to vie for the glittering prize that was the realm's throne. Yet the murders of first Demavend, then Henselt, forced them to look to their own problems. Temeria fell prey to its power-hungry barons. But Vernon Roche held a light of hope for the dying realm, and he tucked it away in a place safe and still to await better times. Years before, Geralt of Rivia had witnessed the fall of the Council and Conclave of Mages. The summit in Loch Muin re-established both bodies, their founders sacrificing Sheila de Tanzerville and her accomplices. Yet Radovid also required humility and loyalty from the proud mages, but this did not sit well with all of them. It was a time of great uncertainty, of rape accomplished by royal decree. Yet as troubled as the days seemed, we, who had in some way shaped the world's fate, finally received some respite. Zoltan resumed the quest for his beloved's hand, and I laid my head in the laps of the muses. Who could have known this tempest which had ravaged the north was but a harbinger of darker days, and the preamble to an entirely new tale of Geralt of Rivia.